And you're talking about doing the same thing over and over again, routinely, should we say?
For it. It's in my head, but yeah, I was going to say, which of you two are going to say routinely first?
Hey everybody, it's John Lamilton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 55 of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. On today's show, we are joined by a soon-to-be black belt wielding wedding singer with us. But before we get to that, I need to let you know that my brand new book, Routine Machine, is out now. No, it isn't actually out now because we're recording this before it goes out. So, Jason, how do you think it went?
Went really well.
You think it's like bestseller? Nobel Prize winning? I don't know.
Nobel Prize.
It's been out for a few weeks now. But yeah, you can get a free sample chapter of my new book, Routine Machine, at routinemachine.co.uk. Just go over there, pop your email address in, and I will send you a free chapter of my amazing, really well received, soon to be award winning book, Routine Machine. But anyway, back to today's guest. So today's guest is Jamie Reeves from The Best Singing Waiters. Now, Jamie started out as a DJ at the age of 16 or traveling around Europe as a singer from the age of 20. After establishing himself as a Robbie Williams tribute act, he must have had a lot of pies at the time, I think. He set up his own entertainment agency and started managing different tribute acts, including Take That, Meat Loaf and Amy Winehouse. The agency was focused towards the wedding market, and that's where the idea for the Singing Waiters came along. Now, the wedding entertainment agency bombed, but the Singing Waiters idea took off, and now, 9 years later, with over 1,500 events performed, it's still going strong. Jamie is also a keen songwriter and has had a top 10 hit on iTunes, and has written and worked with people whose credits include Beyonce, Take That, and Paul McCartney. He also learned to ride a moped on Albert Square and is 3 gradings away from becoming a black belt. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jamie Reeves.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm very well.
I sound quite good there, don't I?
It's almost like you wrote it yourself, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking around going, who's he talking about?
So first place I have to go with this, mate, is how did you learn to ride a moped on Albert Square?
Well, back in the day when I was working as a singer, I used to do a bit of extra work on lots of different TV programs. And the guy that got me the gig at EastEnders said, "You can ride a moped, can't you?" And I went, "Has it got gears?" He went, No, it's not got gears." So yeah, I can ride a moped, no problem then. And just blagged it. And I must have done it about 7-8 times. I went down the one summer and I was kind of their moped rider for the summer. So every time I came, the mechanics guy, because the moped always gave him grief, was like, "Oh, bloody hell, not you again. You can shove that helmet up your ass." And that was it. And he used to drive the bus and I'd be there on my moped and we'd be having little races trying to see who could get off first and kind of not knock each other over while they're trying to film something. So it was good fun.
I'd love to go back and find just Phil and Peggy having a little ding dong there, and then there's this bloke just teetering down the behind on a moped.
Well, it was in the days of Peggy and Mike Reeves, Frank Butcher, and all them. So yeah.
I never thought I'd see the day where we had a Mike Reed impression on the AOB podcast.
Do you think it might have counts as an impression?
Well, I don't know about that. It was something like that. Oh dear. So Jamie, what is, for those listening that have heard your introduction there about a singing waiter, what is a singing waiter?
Well, basically what we do, we pretend to kind of wait on during an event like a wedding or a corporate event or a birthday party or something like that. And then usually around about the dessert time, we'll propose a toast or bring out a cake and then just burst into song. Surprise everybody and just get everybody singing and dancing on the chairs and kind of breaking every kind of rule that you can think of when it comes to dinner party etiquette. We're there and we just kind of liven up the atmosphere and get everybody going.
Fantastic. I've seen some of your videos with, the guys that have got the napkins, they're just waving it in the air and it's just people stood on chairs singing. It's not what you expect from your traditional wedding meal, is it?
Absolutely not. No, it's very much getting the party started in the afternoon.
Fantastic. So this this podcast is called the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. What does an ambitious lifestyle business look like for you?
For me, it's being able to do the things around with my family. I've got 3 kids who are all, well, 2 are very active. The other one's only 2.5 yet, so give him time. But my son's very much into his football and karate. He's very sports driven. And my daughter's very much into dance and gymnastics. So being able to kind of work around their activities is very important to me. I also enjoy working at home as well. So I don't want to be in a big office. I want to be able to manage my business from home. Still have people within my team because we do that. One of my old singers works as part of my sales team. I have my admin based up in that I use a VA for that are based up in Manchester at the moment. So there are all people within our team. We're not just a one-man band. And I have processes so that I'm not just a business. I've probably go out and do maybe 6 to 10 gigs a year now. And to give it some sort of context, we probably do about 200 gigs this year. So very much, I'm not the business anymore. I was when it first started, but now it's me running the business so that I can still deliver that kind of really personal, kind of best ever wedding feeling to people, but still be able to take my kids to football, take my kids to dance, and run the kind of life that I want to live.
This is harking back to John Monks from I think it was episode 44, where he said, "I'm the conductor of the orchestra. I've got this orchestra here, and I'm just a conductor."
Yeah,
and that sounds like what you said up there, Jamie.
Yeah, and anyone that knows conductors, all they do is just wave their arms about and blag it, and that's kind of what I've done for the last 10 years.
That's all I've ever seen of
I've never seen Jamie knows.
So how did you actually go? Because obviously this is where you are now. You've got this business, you work from home.
Yeah.
It's, you are the conductor of the orchestra. You've got 200 gigs a year happening, of which you're only doing a handful, up to 10. How do we get here from where you were? How did you start designing that and decide, okay, actually, I want to have a lifestyle business rather than actually I am the business? Where did that transition happen?
It kind of happened because I was getting more and more offers for gigs. So to do Singing Waiters, you need singers because you do some solo gigs, but it tends to be in 1s, 2s and 3s. So I was getting singers on board to kind of help me out with the different gigs that I was doing. And we were getting more gigs and I was thinking, well, if I send them out to there and we go and do that one, then that's all good. So within the first sort of like 12 months, we had a team of 6 singers on board. And bear in mind, going back sort of 9-10 years ago, it wasn't Singing Waiters. There's quite a few of us, believe it or not. So at the time, we were the only pop single-on ones of around at that time. There was another pop act, but they were very much kind of cricket audience clap kind of thing. They weren't. They sang songs and surprised people, but they didn't interact in the way that we did. They wouldn't get people singing along and waving napkins. So we were very much unique in what we did. So it was just building a team of singers to start with. And then obviously as your operation gets bigger, then you need to bring on admin, then sales and take care of things in that. And you just start building processes. And it was probably, if I'd have tracked it and diaried what I'd done over the last 9-10 years, it would probably be like a crap version of the E-Myth. So kind of some elements done right and some elements done wrong, and it's kind of suck it and see and see what happens and see what works. And then we've just built a series of processes over the years. And I think that's the key to running any business. It's all about the processes. Whatever you do, document it. Zoom is such a great tool nowadays, because you don't even need to write it down. You can just video yourself, do a screen grab and show what you're doing, record it, and then just stick it on Dropbox, so that, right, that's what we need to do that process. Right, how do I do that? There you go, it's in Dropbox, look under that and you'll find it. So whichever member of your team you bring in, there you go, that's the process done and dusted.
That sounds like a better version of the E-Myth. I think you've improved on Michael Gerber's work there somehow.
Yeah, maybe I've just brought a bit of tech into it.
Yeah. E-Myth for the 21st century.
Yeah.
Which processes do you think were the most important to set up first in order to get yourself out of the business? Which ones were important? For me, or for somebody that would want to kind of go back to it? Yeah. For me personally, the admin, because that's being a creative. Admin is kind of like, oh, really? So that was the first bit that I wanted to get rid of. So it was making sure that the processes are down. So when we do a gig, 2 months beforehand, we'll have a function sheet that goes out to everybody. So we'll send out the song choices, contact the venue, make sure we know what to wear. If they want any insurance certificates and PAT test certificates, we get them sent out to them. The customer will choose their songs, tell us what time their guests will arrive. Then we'll create this little sheet that goes to the customer, goes to our singers, and that's everybody knows what's going on then. So that was probably the first thing that we did, was kind of make sure that the admin side of things was looked after. Quite a time-hungry process as well, I guess, because actually you've got to make sure everybody's had everything, and you've got to get it all together, and you've got to send it all off, and you've got to bring it back, you've got to collate it, and you've got to send it out again. So for you, that's something that would, really take some of your time and your energy, especially as a creative, as you say.
Yeah, because you're always chasing people. Whenever you ring up a venue, they'll be on their day off, or they'll be on the phone, so you've got them ring back. You'll send the song list out to the client, and they'll be like, oh, I'm busy at the moment, so you'll wait. Then they'll forget about it, so then you've got to chase it up again. So all these things take time. So yeah, it is very much kind of time consuming.
And let's say you don't need to be the person doing that. You can design the process.
Yeah.
But then you need to hand that off. And I know a lot of business owners, when they first start handing things over, actually struggle to let go.
Certain tasks, because I disliked the admin task, I couldn't wait to get rid of it. So it was it was bringing stuff in, but there are certain things, like now, that when I was kind of learning all this stuff, Perry Marshall, I got very into Google AdWords at the start, because that was kind of what helped drive leads into the business. So Perry Marshall, I don't know whether it still is, but used to be sort of 9-10 years ago, was the god of Google AdWords.
I think he still quoted it. I don't know if he still is the god.
Yeah, he's certainly the granddaddy anyway, if nothing else. And he used to talk about doing $10 an hour jobs, $100 an hour jobs, and $10,000 an hour jobs. And I didn't want to be doing $10 an hour jobs. I wanted to be doing the $100 an hour jobs. I wanted to be pushing to do, back in the day when I wanted to build a bigger business than what I've got now, I wanted to be doing the $10,000 an hour jobs. So I had to let go of those admin jobs. I mean, there's one job that I enjoy doing now that I think like every business owner, I think that, I'm definitely the one that does this best, which is but I don't particularly overly enjoy doing it. The videos that you talk about, I put them onto YouTube and to Facebook. Now, putting a video up anyone could do that, but I like to write the witty comments that go with it. So I watch the videos and pick the right ones and whatnot. Sort of, I don't mind admitting this, I like Love Island. Okay, it's out there. I've put it there, right? Put your hands back at your head. But the thing that makes Love Island is shut up. The thing that makes Love Island is the comedian that does all the voiceovers, because he's so witty, and the way that he kind of reacts to it. That's the funny bit. That's the bit that makes you laugh. They do the daft stuff. Then he comes up with his little bits that add on to it, and
you're laughing, you're into the story then. And that's what I think I do when I'm doing the videos. I think I'm that comedian that's there kind of going and putting those bits in. And that's probably a job that I could do with going, right, okay, what do you really want to be doing? Do you want to be doing these $10 hour jobs, or do you want to be doing these $100 an hour jobs? But
so
then I'm like balancing up, they won't be as funny. So
well, it's the impact, and it's, you know, it's on the face of it, yes, it's a $10 an hour job, but if you can have a greater impact, and if you're going to put, let's say, 2,000 views through a YouTube ad or through a Facebook video,
yeah,
and if you can increase the conversion rate as a result of having that comedy, that witty banter in there,
yeah,
then actually the impact you're having isn't a £10 an hour job.
okay,
If you imagine you are, let's imagine Come Dine With Me without Dave Lamb's commentary.
yeah,
Let's imagine, or remember, You've Been Framed before Harry Hill when Lisa Riley was doing it. It was the same content,
yeah,
wasn't as impactful.
yeah, definitely. And I guess maybe I'm selling myself short then, and kind of I am doing $100 hour job. Right, I'm keeping that one then.
There you go. But also, I mean, to be fair, it's very easy to say, I must not do those $10 an hour jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But what if that is what you truly love? Yeah. And for a lot of creatives, well, actually, the creation is what I enjoy. And yeah, I could outsource that. I could get someone else to do that. But I love that bit of the job.
That's it. It's the writing thing. It's the songwriter in me. Because at the end of the day, if I could go and do what I do from home as a songwriter, then I would sack everything else off, because that's my passion. But as many songwriters will tell you, that especially now with Spotify and Apple Music, there's very little money in writing songs. So I get to write videos and sales letters and Friday funnies and stuff like that. So that to me is sharpening my writing skills, which is what I love to do.
Yeah. You touched on something just now, Jamie, and you said about back when I was growing a bigger business, or back when I wanted to have a bigger business than I've got now, and I was doing these $10,000 an hour tasks. So what changed between wanting that bigger business and I want to work from home, I want to craft it around the kids' activities, that sort of thing?
Kind of my kids growing up, falling on my backside a little, taking a little dip with the business. Mm-hmm. So there was a time where we had an office where we had 6 staff and it was all in-house. And then we stuck on a bit of tough times. So we kind of scaled back and then grew back again. So having been there and kind of looked at what we were getting from having that bigger business, and then scaling back and seeing where we are now and what we're doing with the business now, and growing it a lot more slowly, and a lot more remotely, but it's a lot less stress. I'm not doing 12, 14-hour days. Like I say, I maximum I do is 7, 8-hour days unless I'm on a gig.
Yeah.
So that's much, much nicer. And I don't think with having 3 kids and everything else that I've got the energy to do 12, 14-hour days anymore. I think I'd be in a really bad mental place if I went and did that. I think I'd burn out really, really quickly. So I'm not, like yourself, I'm not a big fan of the hustle and grind.
Yeah.
And that's not where I want to be. I want my business to be successful and have an impact on people. But I want it so that it runs as a vehicle for what I can do with my life.
Yeah.
It sounds very much like our story.
It does. I mean,
it just runs exactly, kind of parallel, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The children, the struggles, the
falling down a bit, picking
yeah.
back up, growing slowly, getting what we want from the business,
yeah.
and actually the lifestyle bit that we kind of want, and limiting the hours of working and the hustle and the grinds of it, and in order to spend time with the kids. It just sounds an absolute mirror of our kind of.
So, I mean, do you think you need to have that then? Do you think you need to fall down and to make the mistakes of this is how you grow a business. If you're in business, you need to have a big business, and you need to have staff, and you need to have offices. And then when it all falls down and the house of cards collapses, to realize that actually, having 15 members of staff, as we did, 2 offices, and suddenly looking at it and saying, actually, we need to earn £350,000 a year just to open the doors. And having that realization that, well, actually, if it's just the 3 of us and everyone works from home, we need to earn 40 grand to keep the doors open. Oh, we know how to do that. We could do that standing on our head. Mm-hmm. Do you think you need to have that?
I think you gotta have a purpose, I think, and those life-changing things of children and falling down in business and that kind of stuff revisits that purpose, what you're in it for. Some business owners kind of don't ever find that. They're like doing they're doing the work, they're working really hard, they're working harder, they're getting more hours, they're doing that, they're paying their mortgage, they're keeping themselves, and that all kind of works out really well. And for some, that's right and proper, and that's how they do it. But for others, it's kind of like, actually, there's something that comes along, and then actually you get that purpose, and it's like, actually, no, I want to spend time with my kids, or I do want to go and have some holidays, or I do want to go and have that. And it becomes a purpose and a mission that actually you need to then re-identify what you're doing and re-identify what your business is doing, so that you can move forward in a nice, orderly fashion, much like Jamie just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thinks that the path to success is this nice, straight, linear line that just goes up constantly. And it's not. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's massive drops, and then there's massive highs when you feel absolutely on top of the world. And then the next day, you come crashing back down to earth with a real reality check,
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not straightforward. You do get sleepless nights, but then being able to kind of, like, Amelia's started doing competitions now, and she won her first 2 medals at the weekend. So seeing her face when she comes back doing that makes it all worthwhile.
Definitely. And it is those moments. And I think certainly for me, it was the big change. It was having kids, because the minute I found out Sarah was expecting, just my priorities changed, and it was just everything that I thought I wanted just vanished, just like it was a mirage. It was like, well, you don't actually want any of this stuff, that, the yacht, the helicopter, the skyscraper, the massive country house. I don't actually want any of that. And it was just that realization of, what the hell am I doing? Why am I working towards this?
For me, it was when Jack went to school, because once he started going to school, you have to kind of conform to the Monday to Friday routine.
Yep.
So where I was kind of working during all weekends, and taking days off with the family during the week, it meant that, oh, right, okay, well, if I work all weekends, I'm not going to see him, because I'm going to be there working all week. The day I take my day off, he's going to be in school. And when you're doing 12-hour days, sort of 5-6 days a week, just what are you doing it for?
Yeah, exactly. It is that purpose, that big why, isn't it? And I think kids really do give you that, because it is that complete unconditional love, complete dependence. And I think that we have an opportunity that perhaps our parents didn't, because there's no way that my dad could have worked from home part-time, building his own business, leveraging the internet or anything like that. It wasn't possible. The only thing he could do to provide for his family was to go and work away. So, we live in Plymouth, he worked in Manchester, and he'd come home, for a weekend every 3 weeks. But that's what he needed to do. Times have changed now. I don't need to do that. And I think for me, perhaps that's a driver as well, that because my dad was away for 3 weeks on end, I'm there every day. I'm doing the school runs. I'm there every evening. And, maybe that's a driver. I don't know.
But when I'm at football practice, Jack goes, he's really keen on his football. And we train most evenings, because it's not like a 10-year-old can go out and play in the street nowadays, is it? And play for 3-4 hours and be called in when the street lights come on or tea's ready. So he's out most nights doing sort of an hour or two's training every day pretty much. And when I talk to other parents, they're like, well, how do you manage to do that? How do you manage to fit that? Well, I'm lucky I work for myself. I can pick and choose my own hours.
Yeah.
And that's what having your own business and putting those processes together means that you can do those kind of things. You can dictate life on your terms.
It's very true. I think back to, let's go back, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. Lifestyle businesses used to mean, you make jam in your kitchen, or you've got this little embroidery thing that you do. And it's a hobby that gives you a few quid and maybe covers your cost. That was the definition of a lifestyle business. What you've described there now is what I would call a lifestyle business now. And it's got nothing to do with the money. And, you could earn £3 million a year as an ambitious lifestyle business, but you probably don't need to. You can earn 30 grand a year as an ambitious lifestyle business. It's the freedom it gives you. And it's not the money, it's the time.
Yeah.
It's the freedom to say, do you know what? Yeah, my kid's got training, football practice every day between 6 and 8. I'm going to be there. It's my kid's sports day in 9 days' time. Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll take the day off. Absolutely fine. Harry's got a hospital appointment on Monday. Cool, I'm there. And it's that freedom to go, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. And like you say, like you are with your kids, I'm there for every school event. And there's so many dads that aren't. When, like, you're talking about sports day, I don't know about your school that your son goes to, but with the weather like it is at the moment.
Yeah, we need to reserve the backup date as well.
Yeah, there'll be a backup date. And parents will be organising themselves, right, I've got these 2 hours off work so that I can come and see, knowing full well that the weather outside is absolutely hopeless. It's not going to happen on that day. Whereas I'm like, okay, well, I can't, that one's not done. Brilliant. I'll go and do that.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
I'll almost be praying for rain because I've blocked out the day for sports day. And if sports day doesn't happen, I've then got a free day. Oh, what shall I do with my free day? I could do some writing. I was going to say sit in the garden and read, but if it's raining, I'm not going to be sat in the garden.
Sounds like you're going to play golf, but that's not going to work out either, is it? Tried that yesterday in the rain. That wasn't fun.
But it is that freedom, and I think I always come back to my ultimate job description: to do what I want, where I want, when I want, how I want, if I want. And I think of those, the kind of when you want is the most important, because we've all got to do the work at some point. It'd be very easy to say, I'm running a lifestyle business and I just do what I want when I want, and I never want to do anything, and I just literally sit on Facebook all day looking at kitten videos. Well, that's not really a lifestyle business. Sooner or later, you've got to do the work, but being able to choose when to do the work and in what environment and how that work is going to be done, that for me is the main freedom.
Yeah. And like, I've had some issues with the business where some things have gone wrong. So I've had to get back into the business to tidy them up, which has meant that some of the jobs that I'm supposed to do haven't got done. Yeah. So now I've been making sure that I put into my calendar and give myself little kind of bonuses, if you like, that I can go, if I do 50 hours in a row, I can go to Starbucks and get myself a coffee.
Yeah.
So it's making sure routine, as I'm sure you're kind of...
I was going to say, there is a book about that, I've heard.
Is there? Go and review it on Amazon. So there's things that you have to do still. You're still not completely free, but it's life is a series of choices, isn't it? And if you can build a life where you can choose what you want to do and when you want to do it, then that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been one of our 1%ers for a while now. How has the 1% Club helped you with that?
It's always important to align yourself with people that have got similar values to you. When I read your first book, I was like, that's how I want to run my business. And it was probably at the time where things were going a little bit wrong as well. I was like, running a business like that makes total sense to me. So that was the main reason, was so that I could be closer to you guys, so that I can copy your model and put that into my own business. And that's pretty much what's happened. So over the last, when did I start? I had a guy that was helping me with admin, and we worked remotely because when we took that little bit of a dip, we decided to get rid of the office. So he worked from his home and I worked from my home. And then we just built it from there, and got more people on board, and I've given away more tasks, which has freed up more time for me to either spend with the kids or do more income generating tasks.
Good. Yeah, it's one of those things, if you can surround yourself with, I keep saying like-minded people, it's almost a cliche to say like-minded people, but actually, you are who you surround yourself with. And often, if you want to grow your business, you surround yourself with business growth people. But actually, if you want to grow a lifestyle business, perhaps you don't want to surround yourself with Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone and the guys who are building $100 million businesses. These are the guys who do want the yachts and the skyscrapers and the helicopters. And if that's what you want, that's who you need to surround yourself with. But actually, if what you want is the freedom to be able to do the school runs and to go to sports day and to say, do you know what, I'm not going to work Wednesdays, or I'm going to take every Friday afternoon off, or I'm going to take a lot of time off in the summer so I can play golf, and then I'm going to do a load of writing in the winter. That freedom can come from surrounding yourself with people who either have done it or are doing it and on that almost that common journey, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for me, the next stage that I want to get to is where I'm only in the business 1 or 2 days a week, because then I can do a bit more songwriting and take the songwriting a little bit more seriously. So that's kind of where I want to get to. So the next, we've got one salesperson within the business. So now it's growing the business to make sure that it can feed 2 salespeople and do that on a regular basis and make sure that the results are consistent. And then the next stage will be to maybe up the leads a little bit more, so that it can feed 2.5 people maybe, so we can get that other person in and then keep it ticking over like that.
Yeah.
So there's always kind of that next stage of where you want to go to. Yeah. So still the ambitious part, the ambition's still there because Disneyland doesn't come cheap. And neither
it doesn't.
and neither do football lessons, and neither do dance lessons and gymnastic lessons and martial arts lessons, that they all come at a cost. So the ambition is still there to grow the business and take it to the next level, but doing it on my terms rather than doing it on 80-hour
Well, if you look at what you defined as your goal there, it wasn't, I want to earn £250,000 a year. It was, I want to work 1 day a week. Yeah. And that's the goal. And so many people start with a monetary goal and they say, I need to earn 50 grand or 100 grand, or I want to turn over £1 million. I need £1 million business. Why do you need £1 million business? Other than willy waving and to show off to your mates, why do you need £1 million business? You know, if the £1 million business serves you and it meets your goals for what you actually want from your life, happy days. If not, why the hell are you slogging your guts out to get £1 million business just to say, I've got £1 million business?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's everything has to align to your goals and your purpose. So if you want a house that's like say the most important thing to you is like a 6-bedroom house with 2 acres on, then you're going to need to kind of push a little bit harder than somebody that wants to work 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So how does getting a black belt fit into your goals and things?
It's just health and well-being. When Jack was born, I was working stupid amounts of hours. I was trying to get the Wedding Entertainment Agency up and running. I was singing and doing gigs. The singing weight a bit was starting to take off. I had a full-time job because life as a singer can be quite topsy-turvy, just like as a business owner. You have so many peaks and troughs. So I ended up working for a debt collection agency. And the reason I was working for a debt collection agency is so I wasn't chased by the debt collection agency.
You knew they were coming.
You can just put your file on the bottom every time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be all right. Just keep paying me, and give me a bonus, and all will be good. No, so we weren't quite at that level, but that regular income I needed because the singing stuff was so up and down. And the irony was, anytime I took a full-time job, my singing work would go. And I was then trying to juggle, they want me down in Devon on a Friday night and I'm based up in Wigan.
Yeah.
How the bloody hell am I supposed to work till 5 o'clock and then get down to do a gig there? So it was kind of juggling everything, and holidays and sick days and things like that to make sure that things worked. I was working 80, 90 hours a week. And just the burnout of that made me feel really, really low. So I ended up having some counselling because I was just working so hard. And it just made me feel mentally fatigued, and I wasn't looking after myself. I was just kind of work. So I ended up, because there was enough singing work coming through, the singing weights were starting to take off, I was able to ditch the debt collection agency, and then just kind of work solely on looking after the singing weighted business. But it's always meant that I've got one eye on my health as well from that experience. And I was taking Jack to martial arts for about 2 years, and I was just like, you know what, I'm sat here scrolling through Facebook, looking up, I might as well be doing something. So I joined in, and that was probably about 2.5, 3 years ago. And I've gone through all my normal gradings now, and the next grading is end of September, where I'll go for my red belt, and then there's 2 more after that to get to your black belt first dan, which will probably be in about 18, 24 months time.
Okay. So we did tease you as soon to be black belt wielding.
Yeah, that's
we just need to delay this episode by about 18 months.
Yeah, it depends on your definition of soon.
Hey, I'm a marketer. It can be as loose as you want.
Well, for some people, 24 months is soon. We keep telling people in the wedding industry that, my wedding is 2021. Well, that's soon.
Yeah.
So my black belt is 2021, so that's soon.
Yeah. As the soon-to-be parent of a 10-year-old, 18 months is nothing,
Yeah.
So what skills have you picked up from the karate that you could then bring into your business or your own personal development?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Been working on it for a little while.
I would probably say it's just continual repetition, I guess, because when you do the martial arts lessons, sometimes you think, oh bloody hell, this is Groundhog Day, but it's just repetition. And it's kind of making sure those kicks are sharper, making sure those punches are sharper, those blocks are sharper. It's by doing them over and over again, you become more flexible so that you can kick higher, you can punch harder, you can block faster. So I'm guessing if you put that into business perspective, by copywriting on a weekly basis and sending out your weekly emails, you'll be more in touch with your list. So they'll have a better relationship with you because you're doing it on a weekly basis. You should get funnier and wittier and more on point, depending on what industry you're in. Obviously, you don't want to be too funny if you're in kind of funeral care or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But for what I do is quite an entertaining way of earning a living, so I can be quite witty and cheeky and things. But it's that kind of weekly repetition of doing stuff there, making your calls, making sure that I do my 50 dials a day, making sure I put my 3 videos a day out onto my social media channels. So I'm guessing from martial arts, it's not being afraid of Groundhog Day and repetition.
So it builds, whether you're talking about copywriting for business, 50 dials a day, or martial arts, you're talking about muscle memory.
Yeah.
And you're talking about doing the same thing over and over again, routinely,
I was
should we
waiting
say?
for it. It's in my head. I've been here. I was going to say, which of you two are going to say routinely first?
Did you see how I avoided it for nearly 2 minutes? I just say the R word.
I just waited for it to come out.
Yeah, but it's that. Let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
And if you become a black belt in, is it karate, the discipline?
It's a mixture of, it's mainly taekwondo based, but it's a mixture of karate, taekwondo, muay thai, kickboxing.
Okay, so you become a black belt in karate, muay thai. If you then suddenly decide you want to do jiu-jitsu, congratulations, Jamie, here's your white belt.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's a completely different skill set, because the martial arts that I do is more about striking, whereas jiu-jitsu is more of kind of like holds. So it'd be like, I guess, going from being a copywriter where you're writing and sending different things out to then picking up the phone and being a salesperson, because they are two very different disciplines.
Absolutely. What's the best way to become a good salesman? Sell every day.
Yeah, just
what's a good way to be a good copywriter? Write copy every day.
Yeah.
And it is building that muscle memory, and actually, but also I think having that coaching, that mentoring that says, just adjust your stance a little bit there, Jamie. Balance your weight a little bit onto the right foot, and it's that little bit of, okay, you've got the muscle memory. Let me just tweak that for you. We have it with the golf coaching. Mm-hmm. We're building the muscle memory of our swing, and then the coach will just wander behind and say, put your chin up a little bit, drop your left shoulder, adjust your grip slightly. Not all at the same time, but he'll just spot random things that just need a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of improving, iterating, polishing. And then the more you do these things, the easier it becomes. So actually you're copywriting your Friday funnies, or your daily, your weekly emails or whatever, become easier the more you do them. Once you've done a weekly email for 3 months, in the beginning it's going to take you an hour and a half to do one. After 3 months, it's going to take you 33 minutes.
It doesn't even take me that long. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and it's.
Oh yeah, I've read you. Sorry, 5 minutes maybe.
Well, I probably was building my part there. You're probably right. Probably takes them longer to send them to my segmented list than it does to write them, because as I'm doing the videos over the week, I'll know which video I want to send out. I've already written half of it within that, so it's then just putting it in an email and then sending it out. So I do it while the kids are having breakfast.
So the last thing I wanted to touch on just before we're coming up on time here is, when you started out, you had this agency that was managing other tribute acts. Yeah. Then you kind of went into the wedding market, and now all of a sudden we're a singing waiter with a top 10 iTunes hit. Yeah. How did that all come about? How did you fall into the right business for you?
Trial and error. Which has kind of always been the way since I started, really, because I was a DJ to start with as a 16-year-old, and I wanted to do I wanted to do either radio or be a football journalist. And I did a journalism and radio course, which kind of worked alongside the DJing a little bit. And from that, I got more interested in radio and the DJ side of things. Mm-hmm. So I headed off down that route. Then from being a DJ, I did a bit of singing to get people going, and people said, "Oh, you should be a singer." So I went and was a singer. Then when we came back from Cyprus, getting married, having kids, that was all on the cards. So I wanted to have something a little bit more to fall back on than just my singing, because I knew how erratic being a singer could be when it comes to income, and having loads of gigs one minute and being quiet as a dormouse the next. So that's when I started the agency. People are always getting married, so that seemed a good thing to do. So I had the wedding entertainment agency on the one hand, and then I had good knowledge of the tribute market in the other. So that's why I started managing a few people and started helping them out. From building the wedding entertainment agency, I found out about operatic singing waiters. For some reason, Google ranked us really highly. So we got lots of inquiries. But the people that we were dealing with were all operatic, all kind of very right, you've got to pay this, and then you've got to pay this for travel, this for equipment. We want hotels, this, that, and the other. The money that they were asking for, I thought was kind of, wow, that's just mega money. We're never going to convert those. And there was no one doing it in the way that I would do it, which is kind of pop sing-along. So that's where I thought, right, well, give it a go and see what happens and run it alongside the other things and see if any of those convert. So we got a few gigs and then things just went, oh, this is interesting. So we spent a bit more time promoting the Singing Waiter stuff. And at the time, I was also doing a Take That tribute as well. I was thinking, we'll do the Singing Waiter stuff alongside the Take That tribute, because the Take That tribute is going to be the one that gets more of the work. But if we do that, then maybe it'll give us a few extra gigs. I think we did about 3 or 4 gigs as the Take That tribute, and the rest was pretty much all Singing Waiters. So more and more time was spent on the Singing Waiters. The When Entertainment Agency did a few bits and bobs here and there, but it was really hard work. And in the end, we were like, well, I can focus all my time on this, or I could continue doing both. Bye-bye When Entertainment Agency, focused on the Singing Waiters. And then just did that. And because the Singing Waiters did so well, I was coming up to my 40th birthday and I wanted to record my first album. So went in the studio, did that. And one of the songs was a song called Let's Get Married, which I wrote for my wife about our wedding in Jamaica. So it was a little pop reggae tune, and that got into the top 10.
Very well done.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel, having a top 10 hit?
It was just mental. It was just really, really surreal. So, in fact, it was about 4 years ago, so it came up on my Facebook memories last week. And I was like constantly screenshotting the chart. And
who was around you?
You got the likes of Bob Marley and UB40. Huh?
I'll say, who else was in the top 10 with you?
Bob Marley, Shaggy, UB40, Kevin Little. So all these kind of real big, well-known reggae tunes. And I'm there, and we got retweeted by UB40.
Wow.
It was just kind of really, really surreal. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was only for a day. But it's something that you can say, yeah, that happened. There you go. That's what your dad did.
Exactly. I've got a screenshot that says best-selling author. You know, I'm above Richard Branson, Duncan Bannatyne, Alan Sugar. You know, yes, it was probably for a couple of hours, but I've got that screenshot. You know,
absolutely.
They're not going to take it away from you.
They're not. Well, I hope not. Anyway.
So, Jamie, tell me how, if people would like to book the Best Singing Waiters, how is the way that they'd find what you're up to, how to get a hold of you?
So we have a website, which is www.thebestsingingwaiters.com. If you type facebook.com/singingwaitersuk, you'll find our Facebook page there. On YouTube as UK Wedding Music, and we're on Instagram as Best Singing. If you put the Best Singing Waiters, you'll find us on Instagram. I'm not sure off the top of my head what the sideline bit is. Best
I think people are going to be intrigued to visit YouTube. I think to see some of your witty videos that you're doing. And
if you type the Best Singing Waiters into YouTube, or just go on the website, thebestsingingwaiters.com, click the YouTube icon, and there's over 1,000 videos on that YouTube channel. So you'll be able to get lost in that and watch something different to cat videos.
I must come up with something other than cat videos to use as that
use
example.
it all the time.
I do,
yeah.
Kitten videos. There we go.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great speaking to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Just a reminder to everybody that you can grab that free sample chapter of Routine Machine. If you want to build that muscle memory in your business or in your own personal development, go to routinemachine.co.uk. You'll get that free sample chapter of my, hopefully, best-selling book, Routine Machine. We'll also have all the show notes. You can watch the video of this interview with Jamie. He's in his home office, so literally, he mentioned how important that is to him working from home. I'm looking behind him now and I'm seeing a keyboard, I'm seeing a guitar. there's lots of fun had in that home office, I reckon. So you can watch the video, you get the transcript of everything we've talked about and all the show notes, and that is at bigidea.co.uk. All else that remains for me to say is thank you once again for joining us on the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, and we'll see you next month for episode 56. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.